Hi, I'm Tanya. I don't like how I just did that. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for subscribing. Today, I'm going to give you 10 tips for a happier life. Tip number 1, mind your business. Now, I know you've seen the memes, mind your business and drink your water, and yes, I agree. Now, mind your business just means that if there is something going on around you in your environment that does not directly pertain to you or affect you adversely, out of sight, out of mind. When someone is trying to pull you into a situation, ask yourself, what does this have to do with me? And if you have determined it has nothing to do with you, you simply walk away. My second tip for a happier life, don't gossip. Now this one is really difficult. It takes a long time to break out of this, especially when your mother's a gossiper, your sister's a gossiper, all the women in your family are gossipers, even some men are gossipers. It takes a long time to break out of the habit of gossiping. Why? Because how we define gossip may not always be what we actually do. We tend to believe gossip is the malicious intent to spread information about other people, which is not always the case. Gossip can be bringing up a topic that no one was discussing. Gossip can be discussing a situation that has nothing to do with you that you witnessed. Gossip can just be the transfer information that does not belong to you or the other person that you're conversing with for the sake of conversation. When we gossip, what we're doing is deflecting from ourselves and projecting onto other people, because it distracts us from the things that we can be doing and the things that we can be working on. And yes, we're all guilty from a little gossip from time to time, but it's our job to curtail that. It's our job to just be a little bit more aware of the information we're sharing. When you sit down with your friends and you're having a discussion and you're about to bring up something, ask yourself, does this add value to my life? And usually, most of the time, it doesn't. Tip 3, move and isolate. What I mean by move and isolate is sometimes you have to get away from the things that you've always known, the things that you're comfortable with, and just move away from that and spend some time by yourself. You will be amazed at the things that you can accomplish when your thoughts are quiet. When we move away from the environments in which we grow in and we move to new environments, we have the ability to thrive. We have the ability to understand who we are, what we can accomplish, and what our purpose is. Tip 4, be intentional. Now, what do I mean by being intentional? It means anything in your life that you are passionate about, that you want to accomplish, that you work towards that every day. You want to be a more positive person, you have to wake up with gratitude. When you have those negative, intrusive thoughts, you have to curtail that immediately. You have to tell yourself, you know what? Nope, that's not the type of person I want to be. I'm going to be positive. I want to think positively. And you have to be intentional about wanting to be that individual. You want to be more financially responsible. When you have to get up in the morning, maybe you eat outside too much. You're going to want to make your sandwich, take your sandwich to work, meal prep. Maybe you want to go to the supermarket a little bit more often. You want to be intentional about saving money. You have to take an action to back up that intention. So in all the areas of your life that you want to have progress and change, you have to be intentional. You have to work on that every day. Even if it's a goal that will take 5 years, you have to do something each day to accomplish that goal. Tip 5, other people are not your responsibility. Now, what do I mean by that? It means that as an adult, you have autonomy to fix your life and take accountability for the things that you do, as do other people. It is not your job to fix people. It's not your job to give them a hand up. It's not your job to go around making other people your burden. Other people are not your responsibility. It is not your job to make other people happy. It is not your job to get other people to see the light. Now, if you're trying to help someone and you give them a suggestion and you see that, they're not intentional about it, instead of nagging them, just leave them alone. Let them figure it out. Use that energy to worry about yourself and what you have to do. They'll get it eventually. And if they don't, it is your job to be intentional whether or not you want them to be a part of your life. Tip number 6. It's okay to be rude. Anytime when you start standing up for yourself, you start stating your opinions, or you start stating your feelings, someone is going to be offended. You have to be okay with other people being offended. It is not your job to cushion other people's feelings. You cannot babysit how other people feel about things. If you are defending yourself and someone is offended, you have to be okay with it. It's not your job to fix it. That's not your responsibility. Move ahead. Move on. Tip 7. You do not need a sounding board. You do not have to seek counsel from your friends, your family members. You do not need their validation. You do not need someone to tell you, hey, yeah, you should go ahead and take that job. Oh, hey, yeah, I don't think you should engage in that relationship. Now, advice is always good because sometimes we have life experiences that other people do not have that we can lend to. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's your life. You are responsible for your decision. Now, if you find yourself unable to make decisions that you're seeking counsel for every little minuscule detail of your life and every little decision that you make, you need to ask yourself, why do I need someone's advice in order for me to make minor decisions? Like, what is that advice doing for me? Am I really in need of counseling, or do I just like the affirmation of my own thoughts of what I believe that I should do? Tip 9. Don't say mean things to yourself. Now, I know you've heard this before, but sometimes we get negative, intrusive thoughts in our heads where we may feel a little guilty for the decisions that we've made in the past, mistakes that we've made, and it's okay. We all have that. Everyone has done something embarrassing at some point in their lives, and it's okay. You have to give yourself some grace. You can only do as well as what you know at that moment. And you cannot do better until you know better. So you have to give yourself some grace. And when you start to get those negative thoughts about yourselves, you have to be intentional about changing those thoughts. Being able to identify those negative thoughts that pop into your head, those negative intrusive thoughts, and actively change that thought right there in that moment. So when you start thinking, that was really stupid of me for making that decision, you have to say, yes, that may not have been the best decision for myself at the time, but I've learned from it, and moving forward, I'm not going to make that mistake anymore. I was resilient after my mistake. I overcame it, and now I'm stronger. My last tip is, do not give people things that are of value to you, your time, your energy, your space, your advice, your money, if they have not earned it. Allow people to come into your life who are going to add it. Be able to recognize people who mean you well, and be intentional about who you allow in your space and who you share yourself with. You are very precious. And when you overextend yourself, you may feel yourself draining. You may feel yourself getting sad. You may feel yourself getting lethargic, and you're not sure why. Whenever you're unhappy, that is the time for you to withdraw, isolate, move, and figure out exactly what is it that's affecting you. And if you feel when you move and you isolate that you're feeling better, chances are there's something in your environment, there's someone around you that's draining that energy from you. And it's up to you for you to be intentional with whether or not you allow that person to keep on being around you. So these are my 10 tips on ways to be happy. Tell me below, what are your tips that you have for a happier life? Now, don't forget to like and subscribe, because tomorrow is going to have an attitude if I don't tell you to like and subscribe. So go ahead and like and subscribe. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you.